Wonder, do you think it'll have that in there? I wonder if it will. We're live? We're live now? We're really live. What's going on, D-Bags? Hope you guys are doing well. We're back here again with another episode of the Detox Podcast, episode 236 to be exact. If you're new here and enjoy music, podcasts, comedy, or hooping videos, do consider subscribing. We've got a whole lot of that going on around here. When you do subscribe, leave a like or hang out with us in the live chat like you're going to do today. Helps us share conversations and laughs like this with more people, so do consider doing that. Helps us out a ton. I really appreciate it. Now, a couple of things before we get into today's episode. I've got a huge live show coming up. I don't know if you've heard, but if you haven't heard, you've heard now. It'll be up on the screen right here in 3, 2, 1. There it is. Darren, Rita live at the Vivarium in Milwaukee, baby. Pabst Theater Group is building a new venue. They're opening up a new venue in February, and we'll be playing about a month after it opens, dude. So, like, one of the first people to play in this venue. It's really, really exciting. I'm super pumped for the show. Got a live band accompanying me, doing live renditions of all my music. It's going to be a special night, man. And I want to sell it out. I'm going to be straight up with you. I want to sell it out. It's 450 people fit in this place. That means we got to start buying some tickets, baby. A lot of people tell me, yo, I'm coming. I don't think I can legally disclose how many tickets have been sold, but I can say it is not sold out. So a lot of you are lying. Don't lie. Come hang out with me. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a great night. It's in a new venue. Milwaukee is a dope city, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you should pull up if you haven't already, or if you haven't gotten your tickets already, I mean. Now, with that stuff out of the way, I got to talk to you once quickly about your grooming, because you are doing it wrong. You know, we've all been there before where maybe we waited a few weeks too long to trim the hedges, and it's date night, and you're like, man, I got to clean myself up below the belt. And what do? You reach for that cheap razor you got from Kmart back when Kmart was a thing. Maybe you went to Shopko, I don't know. And you start hacking at stuff you shouldn't be hacking at. You realize very, very quickly if you do that, playing a dangerous game, my friend. Playing a dangerous game. You don't got to do that anymore, though. You got to go nuts. Go Nutz. I've got one right here. Go Nutz is a revolutionary, first of its kind, patented designed razor that's designed with safety in mind, right? It's designed to not leave you with rashes or gashes, to not leave you with cuts and nicks, because it uses new technology. All these other brands and razors, they do a real good job at branding themselves. You see them everywhere. You hear about them all the time on ads and stuff like that. But there's nothing about them that's different, really, other than that they got sleek packaging. Go Nutz here, on the other hand, has a patented new design that's made to not cut you. You can put your order in right now at thegonutz.com. That's thegonutz.com. And you can use code RITA47 to save a little cash and support the channel in doing that. So that's thegonutz.com, code RITA47. Get your grooming done right and go nuts, baby. Quit messing around. Now, with all that good stuff out of the way, we out here. We got some people in the chat here. Coco says, you're going to sell it out. 450. Yes, absolutely. McKenna says, what's up, Coco? Yana says, hey, what's going on, everybody? We're here live today. It's your boy. We're going to be, you saw the thumbnail, the title. We're going to be talking about some crazy stuff, man. 2024 is off to a phenomenal start. I mean, we had, P. Dizzy as the first day of the year and our first episode of the year. And since then, dude, the world has been going crazy. Cat Williams did this interview with Shannon Sharp where he's just like exposing all these different comedians and actors and whatever. And like, I don't even know really most of the people involved, but it sounds like the beef is pretty deep, and it was kind of hilarious to listen to. And on top of that, we just got the Epstein list released, and dude, it's been crazy, bro. It's been crazy, but we're here. We're out here. Things are happening. Obviously, if I know I mentioned it already, but I want you guys to come to my show. I got some stuff we're gonna get to that was on the agenda. First thing is first. These YouTubers be wildin', bro. I have met personally some crazy YouTubers. Some people that I look in their eye and I'm like, I don't like the content brain is stage 3 in these people, and there's no coming back. But the person we're going to be showing you today, I don't know, bro. I don't know a whole lot about him, so maybe I'm out of touch. But the little bit that I was reading and watching today, does not paint this guy in the best light. So recently, a YouTuber by do you want to pull up the video here? A YouTuber by the name of, I forget it's Trevor, I believe. This YouTuber is going to be going to federal prison basically for I think up to 6 months. I don't know if it's going to be a full sentence or whatever. But this YouTuber here is a stuntman. He's a former Olympian. Decided that he was going to purposefully crash his plane as a stunt and record the whole thing and post that to YouTube. And so we're going to go over, obviously this is ABC, so we can't really like play a lot of it, but we're going to play a little bit of it. And I'm going to give you guys, I watched just enough to be able to know what it was about to preface it like this, but I wanted to give you my honest reaction to it as it happens. So, yeah, I guess you could start it over. You could start it over a little bit. This is like where it starts kind of. No, we'll just start it here. Just start it here. Can you've got sound, right? You mind turning it so I can just turn a headphone out so I can hear what's going on? Trevor Jacob, that's who it is. Okay. Yeah. So you've got me. You can stop it right now. Yeah, so dude, my homie is he's a professional, right? So he knows what he's doing. I mean, he knows how to fly this plane, and he's had it for a while. There were videos and like pictures of him and his wife up on Google Images. Like it seemed to be his wife. They can't hear the audio? Do you have desktop audio muted on the on your OBS? Okay. McKenna's fired. Let's skip this then completely. That's fine. You get, that's raw. That's raw. We're right here. Basically this guy crashed his plane on purpose, lied about it to the police, went and picked up the wreckage himself because he wanted the video. And essentially what happened was he stalled the engine midair and then jumped out. Parachuted out, left camera on the plane so he could record the crash. And then he went and uploaded it all to YouTube. And basically he called the police initially, or the whatever department, DNR out there is supposed to take care of that sort of thing. And when they went to retrieve the plane, I guess he spoke to his lawyer in between calling them and them retrieving it. And his lawyer said it would be better for him to go get it. So he went and got it. Here, you can take this. So he went and got it himself, which I guess saved him from some other legal consequence, but was also, again, very shady in the fact that like he already called the cops, so there was no wreckage for them to get because he went and cleaned it up himself. And then he posted it to YouTube. And basically, I was gonna play you the video, but we're having an issue over here, so can't do that. But basically, the guy is like smiling the entire time, like seems as happy as he can be. And I mean, the whole interview is just being like, yeah, man, I'm not saying anybody should do this, dude. I'm not saying anybody should do this. This is so bad. Nobody do what I just did. Like, even though it got tons of views and all this other shit. And the woman asks him, so like, you broke like all these laws. He's like, I actually didn't realize that. But I guess the second I jumped out of that plane, I committed 5 different felonies. And she's like, yeah, so that's pretty bad. And you mentioned just a second ago that the second you jumped out of the plane, you realized that was the biggest mistake of your life. And he's like, yeah, it really was. Big mistake that I made. And she's like, so after you did that then, and then I wouldn't say lied to authorities, but like, reported the crash, but then said he didn't know where the plane was, so then he could go get it himself. So then after you lied to authorities, you decided, even though that was the biggest mistake of your life, I'm going to post that on social media, on YouTube specifically, the whole video. And his like response was like the most content brain shit ever. It was like, well, I felt like I'd already captured the footage, so I think that it was what I should do. Like I didn't want to let that footage go to waste, basically. Which again, I'm a content creator. I've got a little bit of content brain in me. Sometimes you catch stuff live or you catch stuff on video, and you're like, you know what, I might as well do something with it. I mean, you guys saw me right here today fire McKenna. that we caught that live, you know. So it happens. It do be like that. But the dude is insane, man. It's just like, I don't know how you don't think crashing a plane, like not crashing a plane, like he didn't crash the plane, right? He literally let it do its own thing. That could have killed who knows how many people. Yeah, he was in a field or whatever, or he was like in a park or whatever, like, but imagine if someone was hiking through the trees, like through the woods, and you get hit by a fucking plane because some dude was like, yo, I got the newest GoPro. I'm going to stick it on the wing of this fucking plane. Bro, I got a great idea. Like, dude, such a fat L if you did go out that way. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. But yeah, that sucks, dude. Like, what are you ghost riding a plane into the woods for? Just goofy. And this is like an Olympian, bro. Like, I don't know. He must be, again, I got to do some more research on this guy, Trevor what was it? Trevor something? Okay. Well, if you still have it, yeah. I mean, you can just like scrub through on his name there. Trevor Jacob. Yeah, whatever's going on in his brain is not right, dude. And he didn't. I'm not gonna lie to you. Watch the interview with ABC. Look up YouTuber crashes plane. And dude, he looks as happy as shit, dude. He's like looks so proud of what he's did, and he's gonna serve around 6 months in a federal prison. But he doesn't seem phased about it at all. He's like, yo, like I think he knows. He's like, this was a big publicity stunt for me. Some guy in Milwaukee is going to talk about it on a podcast. That's probably not what he's thinking. But other, people are going to make fun of this guy. People are going to do all this other stuff. And the stunt itself is absolutely insane and super illegal. So I think he's just like, dude, fuck it. I'll get out on good behavior. And, he'll get out. He thinks he'll get out a little early probably. And it's like, oh, I'm going to go back to making insane videos because I'm insane. I don't know. I don't know the guy. So I don't think I have to say allegedly because he literally is convicted of this stuff. But allegedly, to me, he looks a little insane. Just crazy, dude. I don't know how you get into that. And ABC has been really popping off today, at least for me on my feed, because they also released Jonathan Majors' first interview since his arrest. His first time speaking at all publicly since he was arrested, which if you guys don't remember, Jonathan Majors, who plays King the Conqueror in the Marvel series, he's in a whole bunch of other stuff, was kind of like a super red-hot actor for the last like 3 or 4 years. Kind of like burst onto the scene and was everywhere. 3 years? Yeah, Creed, yeah. And he was arrested in March of 2023 because of a domestic dispute where I guess he had called the police on him and his girlfriend at the time. That this is all the information we had. Him and his girlfriend were having a thing where, an altercation, and he called the police, and then he ended up getting arrested in that exchange, which I guess is pretty standard in domestic, any domestic like house call when there's like potentially abuse involved is like, I guess they have to take somebody. So like, and it does tend to usually be the guy. So yeah, he got arrested for that. He was charged with 4 counts of assault. And then apparently was just recently, so in December, was found guilty of harassment and reckless assault. Meaning like in their exchange. I don't know exactly how that works, but he didn't testify. He didn't do anything because he thought like him and his team really thought that they had won the case. And so immediately after he was guilty, I think I made a comment about it months ago when it happened. It was early December when it happened, and Marvel fired him. Disney fired him like immediately. They were like, nah, we not going for that. We don't got time for that. Fired this dude. And apparently. So again, remember Disney owns Good Morning America, who is interviewing him and just released this interview today, which is interesting. Like you don't want any part of him, but you're going to give him a platform to talk. But so he's now moving to appeal this because he's still saying like I didn't hit her. He's saying that in fact he was scuffed up, and it's just like been this huge thing. And I remember seeing an ad that he was going to have an interview come out today. I saw it a couple of days ago that that it was going to be coming out, and thinking like, dude, is this gonna be another one of those things? Like, first off, he does admit to in the interview. I watched the first half of the interview. He does admit to cheating on this woman that he was with, and he says it also was a super bad relationship prior to that, and that one of his biggest mistakes is that he was cheating, and that he got in that car with her in the first place that night or whatever. But it's like another one of those things where, like, dude, what if he appeals this and he isn't guilty? Like, I just think social media with stuff like this is so dumb, because don't get me wrong, if he is guilty, and I mean right now he's guilty of those two things. So if he ends up staying guilty as that, I mean, as of right now, I guess dude is guilty. That's what the law has deemed. Then it's like, yo, you're done. You know, like, not saying as a human being there's no redemption for you. It sounds like this was just like a scuffle between two people that was messy, whatever. But I'm saying, like, if I get it, if Disney doesn't want to do that, but like, it's just a little weird when it comes to stuff like this, because it's like, dude, like Johnny Depp with the whole fucking, like, he lost that Pirates of the Caribbean thing that he had really built with the Jack Sparrow character, because of stuff that he was alleged with, and they'd fired him kind of prematurely. And then the same thing with the Guardians of the Galaxy, when they fired James Gunn because of like an old tweet, and then they apologized and went back on it, and then I believe they apologized and went back on the Depp thing. And he was just like, I don't want to work with them anymore after what they did. And it's like, dude, like, what if he appeals this and then he countersues, and he wins? Like, and that's a big what if. I know it's a big what if, but like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what I would like. I'm trying to think of it. Like, if I was Disney, if I was a company, and that came out, right, that you were guilty of these two, like, I feel like I would have to do what they did, but it also just, like, it will make them look bad if it happens again, where, you know, things get overturned. I don't know. Johnny Depp was guilty, though. He wasn't charged, though, or he wasn't found guilty on trial. He actually sued her for defamation, I believe, and was awarded that. He was just toxic. They were just a toxic relationship. And it's the same thing with these guys. It just sounds like, dude, it sounds like somebody is being potentially emotionally abusive, or maybe both parties are. And then, you know, people, like, things happen, and then they have this moment, and they're like, all right, well, now it looks bad for both of us, so one of us got to win this. And it's like, dude, I don't know. Like, maybe you're both just, like, maybe you guys are just both terrible for each other and don't need to be with each other. That's just what I think. I don't know. Silly thing, but it's huge in the news right now, so we had to kind of give a 2 cents on it. But yeah, I guess reckless assault and harassment right now, and there's a quote he said he did not touch her at all. He says he did not hit her at all, did not strike her. He said he's never struck a woman. I don't know. He said, yeah, in the interview, he said that he's adamant about appealing, and we're going to see what ends up happening. We still got to touch on the other guy here in the thumbnail, Draymond Green. Draymond Green is out here, and if you guys don't know who Draymond Green is, he's a 4-time NBA champion power forward, I believe, small forward, power forward, for the Golden State Warriors, who, again, I'm not super big into sports anymore, but I do follow the NBA decently, and especially Golden State, because I love Steph Curry. And he has been recently suspended. He was indefinitely suspended by the NBA for slapping the shit out of Nikola Jokic, I believe it is the guy's name. I mean, dude, it's a really bad clip. Like, he just does a full 180, like, turnaround slap to this dude's face, and, like, was trying to say originally that he was trying to sell a foul, like, so he was, like, admitting to flopping, but I don't. It was a big goofy thing. And prior to that, he'd already been suspended once this season for a couple of games because of another incident where he'd hit somebody. And he has a history of, you know, some questionable, dirty plays and stuff like that. And it just came out, so his suspension has been lifted. It's no longer indefinite. I think it's either going to be a few more games. Like, he's not, like, back playing yet. But the suspension is no longer indefinite. There's a timeline now. I don't know exactly what it is to his return, but he just came out with a podcast, because he does a podcast as well. Yeah, so he has his own podcast. He hasn't done an episode all season this year, but he does tend to he does them all the time. And he said that in the process of all of the stuff he's had to do to get back, because it was an indefinite suspension, meaning like he had to do all these different things behind the scenes that the NBA and the Golden State Warriors decided was fair for him to be able to come back. He said that he considered retiring to just not have to. Like he's like, this is too much. I thought about retiring, and he said that in this podcast. Now I will say I did listen to more of just that part because that part's been getting clipped a ton, and he did sound like, aside from that he does see some of, he does see like what he was kind of doing was a little ridiculous, that he was being a little bit of a goofball in a lot of circumstances. But I just do still think it's pretty funny that the whole NBA went with this like narrative that like he needs like help mentally. It's like, it's so fucked up, but it is just kind of hilarious that like after he hit this last guy and then was suspended indefinitely, like everybody in the league that doesn't like him was just like, man, I hope he gets the help he needs. I hope Draymond gets the help he needs. Like he fouled somebody, man. Like he did a technical foul. Maybe he has some anger issues, but like he doesn't, like he's not like they were talking about him like he was like he was an addict, like a drug addict or something, like or just like so deranged in the head. And it was kind of hilarious to see like everybody go with that. And part of his coming back was he had to do counseling, which is just kind of, it is just silly. I'm not saying he didn't need it, man. I mean, he was like punching somebody every other game, and it is frustrating to watch because he is a good player. Like he's a good player, like he's not a bad player at all. But it is frustrating, especially as somebody who follows Golden State and wants them to do well, when you watch when he would get suspended for however many games. He would come back, play great for like 2 games, and then kick somebody in the nuts. And maybe he doesn't get suspended that time, but he's getting 2 technicals, getting ejected out of the game, which kind of sways momentum in a game, especially if you're on the road. Because then the other team is like, if I'm at a Bucks game, right, and somebody on another team gets ejected, that whole place is going crazy, dude. Like you're so jacked up when somebody from the other team gets ejected. You're like, bye, motherfucker. Like, get the, like, you're just like, hell yeah. And he was doing that to, like, every team in the league, just giving them an extra boost of, like, them being excited. Like, it gives everybody somebody to hate. And that's just, like, human nature. Like, when we got to combine, we have a shared enemy. Like, I feel like we rise to that occasion. So it's like Golden State, they're playing awful this season so far. But normally they are solid. They're a solid squad, and it's like, but when teams got extra motivation to want to beat you, like that doesn't help on a random Tuesday when maybe Steph is a little sore and Clay is in a slump or whatever. Like that's not good. So he felt like he was hurting the team more than he was helping the team for a stretch there. So I don't know, and I hope he's going to be good when he comes back. But I did think it was hilarious. I just wanted to bring that up to you guys in case you're not someone who follows sports. That is kind of funny that like you get in trouble, you finally kind of get held accountable for like being a douchebag on the court. And again, sounds like he's a great teammate. His teammates like playing with him. Again, he's won 4 championships. I don't think he's a bad guy off the court. I mean, he sounds like a perfectly fine guy, but it just sounds like, maybe he gets frustrated, or it seems like when you watch it that he gets frustrated with how things are going, and then he's just like, I got to do something. And what ends up being that something is like a right hook to somebody who doesn't deserve it on a pick. But yeah, I thought it was a little silly that he was like, oh, I considered retiring, man, as almost like I don't know, is that like a threat? Like, are you like threatening to retire so that you don't have to be held accountable for? I mean, you got it suspended like 2 times already this season, and we're not even halfway into the season. Got suspended, I think, twice last year also. And he's been suspended before. So it's like, man, like that's just dumb. And then it is just bad for the team too. But so I don't know. So it was interesting, and people were criticizing him for that, which I think is a valid criticism. And I think maybe, hopefully he doesn't look at any of those comments and just plays basketball for another couple of weeks before he goes back to do another episode. Because I do think that if he were to see those, that wouldn't go well. But also, I didn't finish the whole episode, so maybe he's really, really grown. I don't know. But yeah, that's Draymond Green for us at the moment. Stuff has been wild too, dude, in the influencer realm. I know we kind of did the YouTube thing at the beginning, but has anybody else been following the Logan Paul internet, like the NFT scam? Sorry, I forget why I just couldn't speak right there. But so if you weren't, basically, I'm not gonna give you the whole rundown, because CoffeeZilla, you can look up CoffeeZilla. Logan Paul did a much better job of this, and he does like actual investigative research and reporting on this type of thing. Did a huge video though. CoffeeZilla does a big video on Logan Paul. I think it was like last year, maybe a year and some change ago, breaking down this crypto scam, essentially crypto scam allegedly, that Logan Paul did on his fans, where he basically said, I'm making a crypto game, like an online Web4 game, where people could buy in. So they buy stock like you would on like a stock market, or you buy crypto like you would on crypto. But the crypto that you buy, the cryptocurrency you buy, is also an in-game token that you can then use to purchase eggs, which what was the game called? It was called Crypto Zoo. So you buy eggs for animals, and then you would like hatch that animal, and then that animal, the hope was that like this game, because you could evolve your animals and they could mate with other random animals and fuse and do all these things. The hope was, or the idea was that he sold people on, was that if you like were to raise an animal and it get at higher levels, it'd be worth more money. So it's like a game that you would play that's like supposed to be a fun game to play, but you also would make money playing it. Which, if any influencer tells you, I got a way that I'm going to help you, pay me money to help you make money, they're probably lying. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a brand and you're doing a brand deal and you value their audience, it doesn't make any sense to pay for a regular person to pay an influencer to help them make money. Why would he do that? So whatever, a bunch of people bought in. I guess I think it was like $1 million worth of capital was like raised and stuff. And then the game never came out, and it wasn't going to come out. Logan stopped responding to all the people in his like chats for it, because he was supposed to be like in direct contact with all the people that bought bought crypto for it. He kind of left it for dead. Then this guy CoffeeZilla came out with this video and exposed it, and then Logan made a response being like, I am dropping the game, you just didn't know, blah blah blah, like you didn't do good enough research, all this stuff. So he just announced that he is also not coming out with the game still, and he now is for sure dead, and he's giving people 1 month, because he said he was going to pay everybody back. That was the other thing after the CoffeeZilla video. He said, I'll pay everybody back 100%. So now fast forward to now. It was like last week, he put out a statement saying you have 1 month to claim your refund for the Crypto Zoo scam. Which is weird to like give people, they only get a month to do it, but they also, if they file for this refund or this like suit thing, whatever, it basically means that they cannot, in the fine print says that they cannot sue him for anything else. And the reason he put that in is because underneath that it says that they are only getting a partial refund. So they get like, I forget the exact percentage, and I don't want to misquote it because there's legal things here, but it's between like 15 and 20 something percent that they get back on their investment. Maybe it's a little bit more than that, I don't know. And if you accept that, you cannot sue him for any of the other things that he did wrongfully here in this case, which he claims, again, he blamed it on some guy he was working with, then he blamed it on a different guy, then his manager was blaming it on a different guy, and now Logan's blaming it on his manager. And either way, it's like, if you're the head and the face of it, like you are the main person who's making money off this, that is negligence on your part, at the very minimum, that you let all these terrible people steal all this money, if you're really telling the truth that they stole it, you know. But so CoffeeZilla just made a video explaining it again, and it's just kind of been downhill from there for Logan. I haven't heard any statements from him since, but yeah. Who is this? Yo, what's good, bro? Pro Nobi, what's up? I'm live on Twitch watching you right now. Wow, you're live watching me live. That's exciting. We should watch somebody live. My computer will blow up. We can't do it. We'll freak out if we have to do that. But yeah, no, dude, it's just crazy. It's crazy with that somebody who has $1 billion company. I believe Prime is valued over $1 billion now. Maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, he's got to be, with all of his stuff, close approaching billionaire status, Logan Paul. Wouldn't just pay the whatever 1 point something million. Like I think it's under $2 million that he owes all these people. Maybe more, a little bit more, but it's like, why not just pay that, dude? Like like, there's no way he doesn't have the money, or that he hasn't had the money, because especially this was exposed like a year ago. There's no way in the last year my boy has not had an extra $1.4 million laying around. Any other human being, like, that would be, that would make sense that they wouldn't. But, like, this guy, like, since then had a huge influencer boxing match. Again, his company is, like, signing more and more sports teams and all this other stuff. It's like it's right behind Gatorade now at this point. I don't drink it. I've only had like a sip of it. It was all right. It's really sugary. I don't really drink Gatorade either, so I just drink water. But people seem to like it. It's like, dude, just pay the people you screwed over. Like, it's just kind of silly to me. And I hate too, like, he did the whole, like, when it basically, CoffeeZilla made the video. He made the video, and then Logan, Logan wasn't going to do anything and wasn't updating anybody on anything. Then Coffee made the video, which kind of forced Logan to have to make a response. And then he just, in my opinion, lied and was like, I've been working on it this whole time. I've been doing da-da-da. It's coming out, blah, 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 blah. Now, fast forward to now, admitting that it's not coming out. And to myself, and maybe anybody else who's not an idiot, it probably was never coming out, and he knew that the whole time, but he was just like, maybe I can, if I just put this out right now, it'll appease people, and then I can say I'm dealing with it, and then maybe he did even look into it, like maybe for charitable, maybe he did look into, finishing the game, and then when he actually realized that he was going to have to, like, pay developers and do all these other things, was like, nah, it ain't worth it. I'm chilling, rolling up before I do these reactions on stream. We just watching you. They are close to hitting a bill. Really? Yeah, they are. Okay. But I know they're not. Yeah, I know they're not sole owners of the brand. They just. But Prime, I haven't had it myself. But rich people don't like paying anyone. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's just silly too, man. And then he did like the whole tough guy posturing thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna sue you, CoffeeZilla. Like, this is bad reporting, all this other stuff." But then, like, Logan is actively suing other people, like, that were involved with it, that scammed him. Like, they knew, like, basically everybody involved knew that they were scamming. But then some people were also on top of that trying to, like, double scam Logan. And so the guy he was saying did a bad job reporting on him, that he made a video threatening to sue, he ends up quoting that guy's investigative work, basically, like using his work in his new lawsuit against these people that he's suing. The people that are trying to double cross him, Logan is suing, and he's using the guy's investigative journalism that he said didn't do a good job at the investigative journalism, which is just kind of silly and funny. Goofy stuff, man. Silly, goofy stuff with Logan. Hopefully he gets past it. I don't know. And he did eventually make an apology video to CoffeeZilla, but that was a long time ago, not on this newer stuff. It's just silly, man. And I think it's funny when people do the whole, like, it's a lot of people that really have no idea what they're talking about when they do, like, I'm going to take legal action against you. It's like, really? Because I'll call my lawyer and we can figure that out. It's like I've had people in the past a few times with either videos or stuff like that be like, hey man, like, if you don't do this, if you don't do X, Y, or Z, I'm going to have to take legal action against you. And they'll try to do it too. They try to do it like be polite, and then all of a sudden they'll switch to like stern and like business talk to me like they're like some like like they're some higher up at some fucking corporation or whatever. It's like, dude, like, what did you put this into Chat GPT? Like, no, bro, I'm not taking it down. Like, I'm not, they'll be like, actually, I don't like what you said and blah, 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 blah about me or da, 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 da. I'm like, yeah, well, that's freedom of speech, bro. Like, I didn't lie about you. Like, I've had it, we've had instances on this channel, and I've talked about it before, where there were, some companies and people that own those companies, they were trying to sue me. They were trying to sue me for some stuff because they were on video saying stuff that they were not proud of. And I'm sorry, man. Like, you were in a public place saying messed up shit, and I'm in a public place recording. I didn't come there to record you. I didn't misrepresent you. You said it. And other times I've had people where it's like they come and do something with me, whether we're doing a video, vlog, whatever, and then they're like, hey, man, like, you got to get rid of that. And it's like, no, I don't. And then they come back with well, yeah, actually you do, and if you don't, then I'm going to have to pursue legal action against you. So then I call up the lawyer, and I go, hey, man, I explain to them the situation. I go, hey, do they have a case? And they go, well, did you force them to do that? I said, absolutely not. They're like, and they didn't have a problem with it after it was put up? Nope. They just decided they do today. Okay, well, then they can stay. He's like, well, they have every right to have a problem with it, but they can't sue you. Or they can, and they would just lose money. And so it's just dumb, dude. It's like, what are you doing? Like, people, I just want everybody to understand this. Okay, I'm aware of this, and I joke about it all the time. I'm an idiot, and every week I get on this podcast and say dumb stuff. And I've been doing that for 236 weeks in a row. I've had some atrocious takes. I've made some jokes that were not funny, probably offensive, and I don't really believe in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've said stuff probably on this show that I regret. Or maybe not regret, but don't believe, right? And it's like, I know that that's on the internet forever. Like, I'm aware of that. We've all known that. They've been saying that to us, especially we're the first generation to, like, come up with social media for real. They were saying that to us in grade school, bro, when people were, like, first getting on Facebook and shit. They were like, yo, careful what you post. Like, someone might look at that someday. It's the truth. It's anything in life. Anything in life. How you come into a bar tomorrow and act could affect you in the future. There are consequences to your actions. And, like, people will just, like, they'll do this thing where they'll do some crazy shit, be totally fine with it, time will pass, and then they're like, actually, I regret that, so it's your problem now, and you need to remove that. I'm sorry, man. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? I have plenty of stuff that I've said and done actually on this show or other places online, whatever, that I'm like, wish I could do that. Wish I could have said that differently or better, whatever. But it's like, dude, if someone perceives me in a way because they see only that one clip, then that's what they perceive. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm a better person than that, and I know that, and I do that. I think I show that every week since, whatever it is. I just think it's like, it's goofy that, like, people, like, they're like, oh, you have to, and I've seriously had this happen, where people are like, you need to delete X, Y, and Z because I'm afraid that, something might not work out for me in the future with this opportunity or this opportunity because of something I did on your platform. I'm like, well, that's crazy because it's not going down. And I talked to my people about it, and they said, we're good. Because you knew ahead of time that you did that. And even if you didn't know, just for a reality check, like I just said, anything you do anywhere counts. If you, at your job right now today, go in and scream, fuck everybody, and cause a big scene and whatever, and you're filming it, and you're thinking you're going to go viral for some silly shit, like you're, prankster, whatever, and they're entitled to do that. But you're not entitled to then be like, yo, you guys got to scrub that shit. That makes me look bad. I'm trying to do something different now. Dude, I'm sorry, man. That's just not how it works, bro. That's just not how it works. And I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I really don't mean that in a facetious way or like attacking anybody. But it's like, dude, I've seriously had people like go out of their way to try to make it my problem that they regret things that they've said on the show. And then I try to be as polite as I can about it, where I'm like, hey, man, like, or I've it's happened a few times where I'm like, hey, I get it. You know, you're trying to do something cool, something different now. I hope that goes well for you. But if what you're saying is true, that you are respecting the thing that I've built here, that I'm creating, I'm not taking it down. It's the thing that I'm creating. And you agreed to be here. No one was holding you at gunpoint, making you say anything. No one was forcing you to be in the room. You wanted to be here, and you were here. So it's just like, you know, I'm not a douchebag about it. You know, I be nice to people, but it's like, it's interesting. Like, you try to be kind, and you try to be like, hey, like, I get what you're doing. I can do what I can do to make it so that it's, you know, not you. I mean, we respect anonymity. That's how you say that, right? Anonymity all the time here on this podcast. I have tons of people, friends of mine, that are kind enough to come on the show that we just don't even put last names on for. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, got no problem doing that. But then when you're trying to like, oh no, you gotta scrub something completely because I don't feel good about it. It's like, well, dude, I'm sorry. It's not how it works. And I'm like, I just can't do that. And then they go, okay, well, then I'm gonna have to move forward with legal action. And I go, okay, well, let me call up my people. Call up the lawyer, text them back. Yeah, well, if you want to do that, I think it's a waste of your time, but we can do that. They're like, okay, fine, it's all good. We don't have to. And I'm like, so you were just bullshitting me because you were mad that I wasn't going to give you exactly what you want. But I met you halfway. But it just, I don't know. Goofy shit, man. Goofy shit. The Golden Globes happened yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm not sure exactly, but I've been seeing a bunch of clips from them. It got me thinking about award shows in general and how it's kind of stupid how they make people wrap up their speeches so fast. Like every speech, I kept seeing clips on TikTok of speeches of people that like I want to hear, you know, accept an award because like I like them or I root for them, whatever. Like Jeremy Allen White from The Bear or Robert Downey Jr. He won for Oppenheimer. And it's like, I want to hear them talk. And if you're the award shows, right, nobody gives a shit about award shows. Like general people don't anymore. Like the only thing we do care about, like it is the people that are there, right? That's why they nominate, you know, 4 or 5 people for a thing. So then all those people come. So then hopefully all of the people that are fans of those people will tune in to see if their person wins it. And then they sell those eyes to advertisers for advertisements during the show. So my question is, why are you then every single person who's giving a speech, they're in the middle of like about to get to that like emotional part of the speech or say something that might be like interesting, and they're getting the wrap it, and every one of them goes okay. They go okay, yeah, I'll wrap it up, or they start playing the music early, yeah, and it's like, dude, I'm there to watch them. I'm not there for you to give me another 30-second montage of the next 4 contestants for the next thing, and then just name them. I'm not there for that. I'm there for the person to see if they want it or not. And if they want it, I want to know what they have to say. And like I just don't think they understand what the content model could be. Like imagine you just let them go up and talk. I'm not saying forever, right? But like you're giving them a minute and a half to accept something that like for some of these people, like this could be the only award they win, or this might be the biggest award that they win. And who knows what that means to them or what story they may have to say. Like, it could be great for the Golden Globes or the Oscars or whatever to have somebody give a really dope speech or even just a story because they're happy about it. Like, it should be, I think they should let them just talk, bro. I'm not there to just get to the next, like, I don't care enough about all the categories, and nobody does. Like, I want to see the human shit of it. I want to hear the stuff, especially as someone who's in entertainment, right? I want to hear what Jeremy Allen White is actually grateful for in winning this award. He just got through thanking the cast and crew, and then he's like about to say something. He's like, oh, I got to wrap it up. Yeah, okay, cool. So Jeremy Allen White just read me the credits to Bear. I don't care about, like, I know he's going to thank those people, and he should thank those people. And that should be the beginning. You know, those are the important people that make sure he's even in a position to win that award. But it's like, who knows what it was actually on dude's mind, or Robert Downey Jr. or whoever. And Robert Downey Jr., he's real good at them. I feel like he does them. He's won, you know, plenty of stuff, and he's he is Tony Stark in real life, so he just knows what to say like that. But like, it's crazy, man. That they're just giving them, these people, the sign. And how much that's probably gotta suck too, by the way, to be the person, the production assistant that has to tell Robert Downey Jr. shut the fuck up. I would hate to be that guy. Like that's got to be a bad job, you know, especially for like if there is like an after party ceremony thing. Like if someone would I'm sure they don't even let them go to it, but if they were there, if the celebrities were like recognize you as like, oh, you're the one that gives me the, oh, okay, not cool, bro, not cool. This show would be like 5 hours long though. Yeah, I know, but it's still, I think like that you don't are you going to watch, like if the Golden Globes are on, let's say, like they were, or the Oscars, are you watching, does anybody watch the entirety of the Oscars anyways? No. Most people don't even watch the entirety of their favorite podcast. They just catch the clips. So at the very least, I could watch the clip for whatever category I was most excited to see. And if it is a 10-minute speech from someone I actually cared about, I get that. You know, I just think that would be better. Maybe I am in the minority there, but I think that would be better. The last thing I wanted to touch on today, obviously I start every episode by saying like what number we're on, and 236 is dope, man. We're 236 weeks in. I'm proud of that. I'm excited to do 237 next week. I try to stay excited about it every single week, and it got me thinking about consistency. And it's interesting. So recently, obviously, I'm promoting this show that I'm doing, this live show with music, and I've been fairly consistent with releasing music over the last however many years, as well as this podcast. And I have noticed, man, that like when you're consistent, like, I don't want to say this. I've noticed that people don't really talk about how boring it is to be consistent. Like, people, it's just so toxic where we do this thing where we want we get super, super excited when people, like, if they disappear for a long time and then they come back, we're like, yes, this is awesome, right? But that's just, it's also like we completely forget about people in the absence. Like, I don't know, it's almost like we weren't even missing them until they come back, and then we realize, oh, we were missing them for a little bit, and then we're like super like celebratory that they came back. But in order for them to come back, they had to leave for however long to make that impact. And it's just this weird thing where it's like, if you're consistently there and you're always showing up for, if it's your audience, your listeners, whatever, it is this thing where it's like you do become kind of numb to it, I think, and maybe we take things for granted. I'm not saying this is not a like woe is me, like, oh, you take me for granted because you don't, share the podcast or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I've noticed that like I met so many people throughout the 236 weeks of this show and prior to when I just was doing music that have like dipped their toes into stuff, maybe started stuff, maybe even did a little bit, got a little traction doing stuff, whether it's social media, music, whatever, and quit. And I don't know, man. I just am grateful that I haven't yet. And I'm not trying to talk shit or brag or whatever, but it's just like, I'm grateful that I haven't. And I know that there is a thing where it's like plenty of people watch my stories every day and don't swipe up on the podcast or don't check out the tickets to the show or don't check out the new song, whatever. But I want to say thank you to people that do. And even though people don't, because it is all the time, because I am always showing up for you, I don't care. Like, I'm getting to the point where I just don't care. I'm like, if you think what I'm doing is annoying, then unfollow my ass, bro. Because I'm showing up, I'm making what I think is good stuff, and I'm doing it regularly. And if you don't want to hear that, if you don't want to show up to that, then that's okay. Come back whenever you feel like it. But there are people that do show up regularly, and those people are legit as hell, and that's what I'm going to keep doing it for. Because you don't build, in my opinion, today, especially if you're someone like me who I'm not the most talented person at anything, if you just disappear for months and months and months or years, like, you're not Frank Ocean, bro. And honestly, there's probably 20 Frank Oceans that exist right now that aren't going to become him because we live in the time we live right now, where you can't just be the mysterious whatever. Like a lot of people, they look at their favorite artist like a Frank Ocean, who is phenomenal, by the way. This is absolutely no shade at all to him. His music is phenomenal. But they look at people that like they look up to, like a Frank Ocean, or maybe like a movie star that they look up to, or whatever, and they see how those people operate now, and they try to compare themselves to that. And it's frustrating when I see people that are on a closer level to myself, and they're trying to approach things like that, because it's like, it's just it's entitled, in my opinion. Like, if you're Frank Ocean, you can do that, man, but like, you're not Frank Ocean right now. So like, yeah, you got to put in a little bit more legwork, bro. Like, yeah, you got to make a little bit of content. Yeah, you got to like remind people that you make music. Like, you got to understand, Frank Ocean came out when there were labels are still exist right now, and they're huge, but like he was signed to a label and had people doing those things for him. Like, you just have to do it right now yourself. I don't know. People just do that all the time, man, and I just see so many people, it's like annoying, and then they just like complain that they're not where they want to be, and I complain about, not being where I want to be also, but I'm like, you doing that next to me is discrediting my complaints. And I've said this before on the podcast, but it's like, I got benched by a coach. Is there hair in my mouth right now? I got benched by a coach of mine, and I was arguably the best player on the team, undoubtedly working the hardest on the team. And every single player on that team knew, and the coaches knew. And they would tell you right now. And there would be I would, and you have those talks when you're a bench warmer and you're sitting with the other bench warmers about like, man, like, coach don't know what he's doing. Like, I should be playing more, blah, 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 blah. And then it would like get to like a kid next to me or two kids next to me, and they would say the same thing. Like, yeah, man, like, we're doing all this. Like, we should be. And I'm like, dude, like, weren't you like fucked up at practice last week? Like, don't you like deliberately not touch any line when we run ladders? Don't you lie about the amount of shots you made in a drill so that you don't have to redo it? Like, we are not the same, and I don't appreciate you saying that we're the same, because it makes me look invalid, because like we can see, like, fuck all the work that I've seen you not do. I mean, like, the end product now, like, if we look at this player versus this player, like, we know you're not, like, you're discrediting what I'm saying by saying that. And so that's why I think I have like a bitterness a little bit towards creatives that quit like that, because it's like, dude, you're half-assing it, and then you're saying you're doing all these things, and then like I'll be complaining about something, and I am doing those things, and then you interject yourself into that conversation or discourse, pretending that it's like similar, and I think it discredits what I'm doing. So stop doing that. Don't do that. Yeah, that's all I got, dude. That's all I got for you guys today. I know that was a lot. I apologize that we couldn't get that video up for you. I apologize to McKenna for firing her. We'll get her unemployment. I know she said she doesn't get paid. But I appreciate everybody who tuned in today. I also want to say a quick thank you to our patrons for supporting the channel. They should be up on the screen right now. If you guys are interested in getting behind-the-scenes access to extra podcasts, as well as a series where I break down how I mix, master, write, record every single one of my songs, go to patreon.com/Darren Rita. You can get access to all that and more. You can support the channel for as little as $1, so definitely consider doing that. Also want to say a quick shout-out to Go Nutz for sponsoring this episode. That's thegonutz.com. Use code Rita47 to get a discount. Also, check out this hat. This new hat I made. Gonna probably sell some of these soon, so if you guys are interested, let me know. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of different colors and stuff like that. This has been the 236th episode of the podcast. I'll